It was supposed to be an ordinary Friday morning at Lincoln Middle School, the kind of day when kids stare at the clock, waiting for the weekend. The air smelled faintly of rain and chalk dust. The students in room 108 had just settled into their desks when the door opened, and a tall man stepped inside, carrying a worn brown briefcase. He wasn't anyone they recognized. He introduced himself in a low, uneven voice. "Good morning, class. I'm Mr. J. I'll be filling in for Mrs. Carter today." The students barely looked up. Substitute teachers came and went all the time. But there was something off about this one. His clothes were too formal, an old-fashioned gray suit with a black tie, the kind no one wore anymore. His eyes were dark, unreadable, like he hadn't slept in days. Still, the students didn't think much of it. He seemed nervous, maybe new. He fumbled through the attendance sheet, mispronouncing names, his hands trembling slightly. When one student asked where Mrs. Carter was, he paused and said quietly, "She's not feeling well." The first period went by slowly. Mr. J barely spoke, spending most of the time staring out the window, watching the empty playground beyond the glass. A few kids whispered and giggled, trying to make him lose focus, but he never reacted. Only once did he turn sharply, his voice cutting through the chatter. "Please don't do that." No one had said what that was. By the time lunch rolled around, a strange tension filled the room, like the air before a storm. Then, it happened. At 12:46 p.m., the loudspeaker crackled. "Attention all staff and students, lockdown. This is not a drill." Every student froze. The chatter stopped instantly. Mr. J's head snapped toward the intercom, and for a moment his face went completely white. Without saying a word, he moved to the door, locked it, and turned off the lights. "Everyone," he whispered, "get down, stay away from the windows. Do not move." His voice was steady now, too steady. The kids huddled together in the far corner. Outside, faint sounds echoed in the hallway. Hurried footsteps, then a loud metallic clang, like something heavy falling over. Someone started to cry. Mr. J raised a finger to his lips, eyes wide. Then came the sound no one will ever forget. A knock, slow, deliberate, on their classroom door. 3 knocks. Cause, then 2 more. "Please," whispered a girl near the back, "make it stop." Mr. J moved closer to the door, his shadow long against the floor. He didn't speak. He didn't even breathe. Then, quietly, he crouched and pressed his ear against the wood. After a long silence, he whispered something none of them could quite hear. A name, maybe. Then he stood and walked back toward the class. His expression had changed. He looked calm, almost relieved. "It's okay," he said softly. "It's just a drill. Everything's fine." He went to the window and peeked outside. Then his body stiffened. Down in the parking lot, through the rain-speckled glass, he saw a man walking between the buses, same gray suit, same black tie. The man stopped, turned, and looked directly up at their window. And smiled. Mr. J stumbled backward. The class stared in confusion, thinking he was joking. But he wasn't smiling. He was terrified. He rushed to the phone on the wall, trying to call the office, but the line was dead. Then he whispered something under his breath, like a prayer in another language. Minutes turned into an hour. The knocking didn't return, but no all clear was ever given. When officers finally entered the building, they found every classroom locked, every student safe, except room 108. The door was still locked from the inside. The students were found unharmed, but Mr. J was gone. His briefcase sat open on the desk. Inside were old papers, faded lesson plans dated 1977. The police tried to trace his employment record, but there was no Mr. J listed anywhere in the district. Mrs. Carter, the teacher he claimed to be replacing, had indeed called in sick that morning, but she said the office told her no substitute was available. For weeks, investigators searched for him. They found nothing. No car, no address, no history. Until a janitor cleaning the storage room behind the library found the class photo from decades ago. Lincoln Middle School, class of '77. In the back row stood a tall man in a gray suit. The name tag on his chest read, Mr. J, and below the photo, someone had written in faded pen, "In loving memory of our teacher who protected his students during the 1977 lockdown."